Oh man, every time I get on live, it's to make sure that nothing bad happens with my internet. Hey, hello. Oh my gosh. My internet has been spotty all day long and it's been very concerning. How is everybody? I hope you all are great. It's Romania Black, and I'm getting on live for the first time in 2025 to start the summer live streams. Hello, Cookielicious. Yes. So, thank you. My neck, you guys will probably notice in my reaction videos, my neck has been just sore the last week. I think I've stretched something out when I was working out, and it's one of those just unavoidable, like, eh. So, other than that, hello, Shimayama. Greetings from America to Japan. So, but yeah, other than that, I'm doing really good. I hope you all are doing well too. It's weird. I don't have the webcam on, so I just got my computer camera. So I'm like looking up there to be at eye level with you all. But yes, so I have been so excited. Summer live streams are some of my favorite things to do. And I was going to do one last week, but I had last week was rough. Last week was like the worst migraine I've had in a long time. And so I did not get to do the live stream last week that I wanted to do. And so that one's going to hopefully be next week. But this was actually the live stream that won on Patreon. It got second place on YouTube. So it worked out. But we're going to be talking. This is going to be probably the most impromptu and probably the least organized of all the live streams that I'm doing this summer because it's looking at 3 series at once that have similarities, but also lots of differences. So it's analyzing, looking at Ping Pong, looking at Dororo, and looking at Gunbuster, which which are definitely 3 series that have some similarities to them, but they are vastly different. But I wanted to thank you, Cookielicious. Great. My computer's not giving me problems. So I like slapped on some lipstick and here we are. So it's too late at night. It's 7 o'clock where I am. I'm like, girl is not wearing makeup this late. No. But thank you. Whiteboard Coon, I've just noticed, is like dangling in the corner suspiciously out of reach, where Whiteboard Coon's just like, hey, I'm here, just so you know. But yeah, I've redid the room. So I feel like the webcam not show as well as what this one does, but I've reorganized with all the things y'all have sent me, redoing all of that. I did already have the Lost in Translation poster though, so that one was not added. But everything else on the back wall is pretty much everything you all, with the exception, I have bought some Classmates things because I love Daokusei and I will just go out and buy Daokusei on my own. But other things people have sent me, I'm really fortunate. Puella Magi, Monica Magica, and Cube are, of course, on the top shelf, as one would expect. But thank you. Oh, awesome. We're getting people in the chat. I'm so excited. Bestial Moon says, sending all my strength to Romania's internet speeds. God, I tell you what, I'm going to get to your Z guitar in just a second. It has been a real concern today because it keeps on going in and out. And I was like, come on, internet, stay online for just an hour tonight, please. Z-Guitar, to answer your question, I do want to record a video of the room. I've wanted to do it all year, but I wanted to wait until these shelves. I ordered these shelves back in December after Christmas, and they just now got here in June. So I'm just now set up to where I've got everything kind of right now where I want it. So I am going to do a tour in August of that. Hello, Lifos. I'm so glad you can catch the stream. Yes, before we get into everything, I want to do 3 streams this month in July, but I want to do them at varying times because I usually always would do my live streams at like 9 a.m. on a Sunday or 1 p.m. on a Sunday. And a lot of people couldn't catch in because of time zones. So oh, Car, you are right on time. You are not late. So I wanted to start doing live streams this summer and have the times varied. So if you can't come to one live stream, maybe you can jump on for another one. And if you can make all 3, then that's awesome. But yeah, so this one's going to be at night. Next week is going to be like midday, like at 1 p.m. my time. And we're going to talk about Scum Villain next week because that should have happened a while ago and we need to talk about it. And then the end of the month, we'll round out talking about Revolutionary Girl Utena in the morning because, hello, Frank. Good evening. Yes, I'm so glad your GIF on Twitter was so funny. I loved using Cheryl Hole in the GIF. Anytime somebody uses a drag race GIF, I'm there in an instant. I'm like, yes, I am zoned in. I've watched too much Drag Race. I've watched all of the seasons and the UK ones, and now we're getting into it. But we've not come here to talk Drag Race. We've come here to talk about Ping Pong, Dororo, and Gunbuster, and all of this fun stuff. And like I told everybody, I've got notes on these handy dandy notepads of what I want to talk about. But this is a very impromptu live stream. This is probably the least organized live stream I'm going to do all summer, because these three shows are not very similar, except that they are short, too short, and need to be longer. And so we need to talk about them. So there's not really one series that I want to talk about first. I've got Ping Pong, I've got Doro, I've got Gunbusters, I've got two corgis at my feet that are like, Huckleberry is buried. I have like a Cowboy Bebop blanket on my lap, and Huckleberry is like buried beneath it. So, oh, thank you about the background shelves. Yes, I'm going to do a video in August. Oh, you can kind of see Huckleberry. There he be. He's like down there. But yes, I want to do like a video in August to go on a tour of the space so that y'all can see it. Because there's stuff that you all cannot see in this room when I'm recording that I'm always like looking over at and seeing. So I want to definitely do that. But I hope you all are doing good. It's summer. And it's my favorite time of the year because I get extra time to do live streams and talk with you all and record ahead. So that's a lot of fun. But I wanted to do a live stream about these three shows in particular. One, because they're three very short series, Ping Pong only being like 11 episodes, and Gunbuster was only 6, which is cruel. That is cruelty. Cruelty, cruelty, cruelty. And we'll talk about it. And then Dororo was 25, 24 episodes. So Doro was enough time, although I would argue, and I argued in the discussion, I thought Doro should have been a little bit longer, but we'll talk about it. But Ping Pong and Gunbuster, you could have made those series like 5 seasons, and I would have watched every single one of them. So I hope you all are having a good evening, good morning, good day. If you all have comments in the chat you want to ask me as we're talking about these series that were in the thumbnail, hopefully you all can see those. Hello, Wushin. Thank you for stopping by to say a quick hello. I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope everybody's doing good. So yeah, I'm glad y'all can stop in. I know this is a different time than I usually stream. My dogs are like, what are you doing? But I definitely want to talk about these series. The only one that I think, Frank, you were the one that sent these to me, if I'm correct. But I think the only series I knew about before they came up in the polls or the Wheel of Fate was Gunbuster, because Frank, I believe in the chat, sent me these. Frank, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they sent me when they were cleaning out their garage or whatnot, the Gunbuster, the movie. This is just a recap movie. And thank you. Yes, I was like, I'm pretty sure it was Frank. I'm gonna feel real bad if it wasn't. And Frank's gonna be like, I didn't send this to you. But yeah, these were the ones I had originally that were sent to me, and I've been hanging on to them. And now, whenever streaming services eventually get too expensive for anyone to be able to subscribe to, I'll be able to go back on these series and watch them in my spare time. So that's exciting. But yeah, so talking about Ping Pong and Doro and Gunbuster, all three of these series, surprisingly, are from originally late 80s, early to mid 90s, which was really exciting because I didn't realize when I was watching Ping Pong that the manga for that series originally came out in 1996, 1997, which is crazy to me because the anime does not feel 90s. It does not feel as dated as it could be, right? I feel like the way that Ping Pong's anime is handled and Dororo's is handled is kind of similar to Banana Fish, which is down there. Banana Fish, which is one of my favorite series, came out in the late 80s, early 90s. The manga did. And then the creator, Mappa, updated it. And it feels modern without feeling dated. Like it does a really good job with that. So Frank says, I've got more DVDs and Blu-rays. I don't need more. Happy to send them. You know what? I'm not going to ever turn anything down from anyone. Although eventually I will run out of space. So, but I feel like we need to hold on to physical media because at some point am I wrong? You all can chime in the chat. Am I wrong to say that they're stopping selling Blu-rays or something like that? Am I wrong to say that? I don't know if I read that somewhere or someone said that they're going to stop selling DVD or Blu-ray players because they want you to just do streaming, which is insane to me. I'm going to hold on to my PlayStation 2 so I can play DVDs on that. But yes, Life's Banana Fish. We subscribe to the Banana Fish. Yes. Oh, they are. They are getting rid of Blu-rays and DVD players. That's wild to me. That's insane. I feel like at some point, if they get rid of Blu-rays or DVD players, it's just going to be like a VCR. They're just going to eventually, you'll be able to find them still, and they'll still sell the physical media. I don't know. It'll become retro at some point when I'm 50, and then I'll be able to just buy all the DVDs all over again. And then, you go to an anime convention and you can find all sorts of DVDs and Blu-rays. So, yeah, I feel like I took for granted when streaming started to become popular and wasn't getting as much physical media, but now if there's a Black Friday sale or something and I see a series that I really liked, then I would probably get it. Oh, Sony, the patent holder to the Blu-ray format, no longer wants to produce the disc. Interesting. I didn't ever get the Blu-ray hype. I mean, I understood why you would want a Blu-ray over a DVD for the quality, but I just was not to me, it didn't matter unless there was some special feature to it. I didn't care if I had the Blu-ray or the DVD. But yeah, so Ping Pong manga came out in 1996, 1997. The anime was produced in 2014, which is insane to me that this anime for Ping Pong is 11 years old. It ages so well, and I think the style of it lends it to aging so well. Bomation, hello, Bomation, sup? Yes, sup. I hope you'll watch more from the director of Ping Pong, like Tatami Galaxy and Kaiba. I think I heard you say you also watched his Devilman Crybaby too. Okay, let's talk about Ping Pong for a hot second, because the style of it, the first episode, if I'm going to be completely honest with y'all, the first episode of Ping Pong, I was looking at the style, and you probably could sense it in the discussion. I was like, it's fine. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about the style of this series. And then the second episode, it's like when you first dive into a pool and the water's really cold, but you're just there for a while, and then slowly like it gets comfortable, and then you're totally fine, and you're like, oh, it's okay, everything's great. That's how I felt with Ping Pong's animation. I feel like that first episode is like jumping into a cold pool, and then once you're there for a little bit, then suddenly everything's tepid and it's fine and it's comfortable. That's how I felt with it. So yeah, but to get to that comment by Bomation in the chat, before I started this channel, like back in fall of 2019, I on a whim at like 8 o'clock at night saw Devilman Crybaby on Netflix and was like, I'll watch an episode of that. And then 8 hours later, I was finishing that series crying and sobbing and screaming. So one day it'd be fun to go back to, but I didn't realize that was the same creator as Ping Pong as Devilman Crybaby. I do know Shimuyama, who was in the chat earlier. I don't know if they're still there. They commissioned Tekkan Concrete, which is the movie that's on this channel now, that's done by the same animation director and everything. That film is incredible, and I love it. But I've had a lot of people request Tatami Galaxy and a lot of people request Kaiba. So those two are definitely on my list to eventually get to. But yeah, absolutely. Nicholas says, hi guys. But yeah, I completely agree. I don't own many Blu-ray DVDs unless there's an extra thing. Yeah, I'm not going to pay the extra for a Blu-ray. DVDs are just fine with me. VHSs, like if y'all grew up with VHSs, you know that there's no going back to those. Not at all. Hugo Alejandro Arana says, hi, Romania. I like a lot of your reactions. Please react to Togen Anki. Ooh, okay. I've never heard of that one. It's one of the top shonen from this season. Interesting. Add that to the list. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Hugo. I appreciate that. Lifo says, I went to a con yesterday and got Heaven Officials Bustin' keychain. Yes, if y'all haven't seen, I did go to MomoCon back in May, which is the first convention I've been to in years. I wouldn't make a big deal about it, except it's been a long time. And I forgot how much I love cons. They're so good. I already want to go back to one. I did not see any Dororo, Ping Pong, or Gunbuster things at the con, which is very sad to me. We need to make some awareness so people are walking around in ping pong outfits, like uniforms with paddles. Would they count that as a weapon? Surely not. Surely not. No, 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 no. Devilman Crybaby is a very special series. Crazy. Allie says, hello, where's Huckleberry? His barks in the background. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you like his barks. I always am afraid you all hate them and get annoyed by them. So he is actually, I have a Cowboy Bebop blanket on right now. You can barely see it. But he has burritoed himself up into the Cowboy Bebop blanket like Ein and is at my feet. So that's where he is right now. he is sleeping for the moment until it's time for me to throw that devilish toy. Speaking of Devilman Crybaby, but yeah, I'm glad you all enjoy his barks. He is absolutely insane. Anime Annie, hello. Tara is once again being a noisy sleeper and woke me. Yeah, you're on a very different time zone. Hello, thank you for coming in. I understand, Tara. Luckily, Huckleberry does not bark, although or snore, but he does fart in his sleep, and that is gross and disgusting. In the chat, Takan Concrete is not conducted by the same anime director. It's the mangaka is the same. Thank you. I knew it was one of the two that was there, so thank you. Yeah, that film is incredible. That's one of my favorite films so far of the year. It's so good. Yes, Bomation. I managed to get the Blu-rays and DVDs and used the used manga of Ping Pong. I don't think the Blu-rays are available here in Canada anymore. The last time I saw it. Ooh, I need to get into that then with Ping Pong because I definitely want to try to get that series since it's only 11 episodes on DVD so that I can have it just, in case things go down and I feel like Ping Pong's a comfort anime too. We'll talk about this with these 3 series, but I feel like Ping Pong is definitely so inspirational and comforting, and it just makes you feel so good inside when you're done watching it that I feel like Dororo to an extent feels good, but you suffer through a lot of misery to get there. And then Gunbuster and Ping Pong actually both kind of have this inspirational final lap around towards the finish line that makes you just feel so good when you're done watching it and you're like, I can do anything. And then I really appreciate that. I need more of that. Akira A says, have you seen the movie version of Look Back yet? I have a reaction to the manga on my channel, the manga chapter. And since I reacted to the manga, I just watched the film version on my own, but I cried again. I cried during the manga reaction and I cried watching the movie. It's insane. It's incredible. Wow. 1:15 a.m. there. Time zones are weird, y'all. Time zones are crazy. So yeah, Ping Pong 1996, 97. The anime came out 11 years ago. It holds up insanely well. It's fantastic. Dororo is probably the oldest OG series I've watched on the channel because the manga came out in 1967 and the anime, the first series of anime was in 1968, 1969, which you can find on YouTube, the 1960s Dororo. If you want to go, there's somebody on YouTube has an entire playlist up. It's fantastic. It's so cheesy 60s, but I love it. It's different than the Mappa version in ways, and we talked about that the last episode. But Doro, Mappa redid it in 2019, which I talked about this in the discussion. I feel like Mappa was coming out with Banana Fish and Doro at the same time, and I like it glitched, and I was like, please don't. Why? So, but I feel like Doro and Banana Fish were basically Disney's versions of Pocahontas and the Lion King because people were working really, really hard on the Lion King and doing all these things and making it so good. But people were on Pocahontas because it was the more prestige animation and people thought that Pocahontas was going to get all these Academy Awards and all this stuff. So Pocahontas was like the primary focus and Lion King was like the secondary focus. And it ends up being that the Lion King is way more popular and I think holds up better than Pocahontas. And I feel that way about Banana Fish and Dororo with Mappa. I think Banana Fish turns out, if you rewatch Banana Fish, I think it holds up animation wise and story wise, maybe a little better than Dororo, but I'm biased. So, but I thought that was interesting. And then Gunbuster, finding out Gunbuster was just an OVA project that was 6 parts in the late 80s. Like it came out the year I was born, which makes me feel simultaneously very old, but also like the animation of the 80s is some of my favorite. I love 80s Japanese animation. It's so grungy, it's so dirty, it's so detailed. It's just, it's chef's kiss. All right, I want to look at this chat because this chat kind of blew up. Hugo says, I'm sure you're happy because Ace of the Diamond will have an anime again. Yes, I am. Oh, Ace of the Diamond coming back next year. I am going to watch that one. I am going to watch the anime for that series because there are moments that I've seen in the manga for Ace of the Diamond that I was like, I want that animated now. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Ale Hibachi says, have any of the animes you've watched inspired you to do any of the activities? Will you be picking up ping pong to go pro? You all... Could you imagine someone with as little hand-eye coordination as me doing ping pong? I'd like swing and then the ball would come 5 seconds later. I am the first to admit how non-coordinated I am. So I will say Ace of the Diamond did have me go to a baseball game. It did make me do that. I did look up a lot of ping pong videos after watching ping pong because I wanted to see some actual matches, and they are insane. How you people have the hand-eye coordination, I don't know. But Gunbusters did make me want to join a female-only flight school, so I'm currently in the process of that. I mean, if Katy Perry can go into space, why not me? No, I'm not going into space anytime soon. No, thank you. Forget the carbon footprint. No, 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 no. But yeah, that is a good question, though. I feel like it would depend on the anime, but there are some anime that just inspire me to want to do better for myself. So I would consider that. Nicholas says Gunbuster was a total surprise for me. It's very uplifting in the end. I didn't know what to think about the black and white, but I ended up loving it. I don't want to get too much into crazy spoilers, but with that, the black and white, such an amazing choice. I also feel like Ping Pong and Dororo and Gunbuster are such great series because they're done like they kind of hit all of the greats of anime. Like with Gunbuster, you have Ano, and Neon Genesis is one of my favorite series. So anything with Ano attached to it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be bonkers and amazing. So yes, please. Ping Pong, the mangaka for it, I fell in love with his storytelling, his character work, his storytelling is just fantastic. And then again, I talked about Tecton Concrete, Black and White. That series is amazing too. And then with Dororo, the character work in that series, that's a series that I love. The idea of this character starting with nothing and kind of building his way back up and building his humanity. It's great. So then H Banana 7. Hello, H Banana 7. It's 9:18 here. Oh, ooh, you are on not Eastern time, but a time after that. Interesting. Zikatar the Immortal. I haven't seen it in the polls lately, but given your Momo adventure, do you have any interest in watching My Dress Up Darling? I have heard of My Dress Up Darling. I have heard of it. I think it's been recommended in one of the surveys, so it may be on a future poll. It might be. Lifo says, I apologize if it's off topic, but are you considering reacting to Lazarus? Oh my gosh. Okay. I keep waiting for people to ask if Lazarus is good. When I saw Lazarus was coming out, like your comment in the chat says, I immediately was like, oh, that main character looks just like Eiji. Yes. So, and I knew it was by Mappa, but I've heard nobody talk about Lazarus. Now, obviously, I don't want spoilers because I would like to watch it, but yes, that series is going to be on a Wheel of Fate at some point because I want to see Lazarus. So that's going to be on the Wheel of Fate at some point or in Romania's Choice or something because I definitely want to see it. And I don't think it's that long. Anime Annie, I also prefer The Lion King over Pocahontas, but a good part of that is down to the music, and I do love Elton John. Yeah, The Lion King just hits a lot of The Lion King is just a really good overall story, and plus it's just Hamlet. It's Hamlet with lions, but I love that. Bomation says, did y'all hear Sunny, another manga from mangaka of Tekken Concrete and Ping Pong, is getting the anime film? Ooh, interesting. Okay. Well, I'm down for that whenever that comes out. My only thing with watching movies is that I have to wait for it to come to streaming. The life of a reactor. I'm gonna have my little solitary tear and my tiny violin playing because I know that the Chainsaw Man movie is coming out, and one of my students on the team I coach, she was like, oh, are you gonna go see that in October? And I was like, no, I'm gonna wait till it comes on streaming. And she's like, why? And I was like, I couldn't really give her the answer. I was like, I'll just wait till it comes on streaming. And she was like, that's a stupid reason. And I was like, so I couldn't tell her I had a channel and I was waiting for the manga reaction. But Gaoshun's right. In the chat, Gaoshun's right testicle is the best name of a handle. You get points for that one. Yay, I made it. I'm so grateful for you and your channel. Well, thank you. The effort you put into your reactions and discussion is so different compared to other reactors I've seen. I wish I was a patron. Well, first of all, thank you very much. That's extremely kind of you. I appreciate that. That's my goal. I'm a competitive person, so that makes me feel good knowing that y'all think it's great. But also, don't worry. If you can't be a patron, I understand completely. I'm so thankful for the people that support me on Patreon because that's like my one source of revenue. But I really, really appreciate just any people that subscribe or come to the chats or come on the live streams or watch the videos and comment. Like I get like you can't support everybody. So I'm insanely grateful for the people that support me. Insanely grateful. I can't have words for it. But I understand if you can't support on Patreon, as long as you like tune in on YouTube and, spread the veal, spread the word, and then it's all good. But yeah, thank you. Nicholas. Yeah, I'm glad Nicholas saw the username. That's amazing. Hugo, before we get any further I've got my notes about these three series. I want to get some of these questions answered on the chat. Let me see here. Have you ever heard of Lord of Mysteries? Oh my gosh, y'all, Lord of Mysteries. Why do all these new shows come out when I'm in the middle of like a really intense reaction schedule? Because all of these new shows are coming out, and I was like, there's no time for them. But Lord of Mysteries is going to be on a future poll. It will be. I'm going to be caught up with about 3 shows around October-ish. And Lord of Mysteries is going to be on one of those polls on Patreon. It is going to be on one of them because I've been teased and I want to see it. It's like, I've got to see this show. So yes, that's going to be up on there. Yes. Is this a new setup? Oh, well, the image quality is better because this is my computer screen. Maybe I need to stop using the webcam. Maybe I need to stop using the webcam and use my computer screen instead. Maybe I need to start doing that and just figure out how I can get to where I can. The only weird thing is I look up here that's the top of my computer because it's on like a little pedestal. So I'm like, that's where I'm looking up at. So maybe I need to raise my chair up so that it doesn't look too awkward. But yeah, no, that's literally it. Maybe if you all like this angle, I can do this angle for reactions. I'm not opposed to that. I feel, yeah. So you dug Pluto, which was based on Dororo's mangaka Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy, right? Yes. Oh, loved Pluto. Pluto was great. So is Monster. Just anything done by, yeah. I mean, Tezuka, I love Unico, so obviously. But yeah, both of those, Tezuka and then Pluto's creator, fantastic. Hi, Breezy. Hello. When did you say the Scum Villain live stream will be? It will be next Saturday or next Sunday. Sorry, next Sunday. I'm going to plan for 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. after lunch. I'm going to do Scum Villain. That's my plans right now. I'm trying to do different times for the live streams so that we can get so everybody gets a chance to come to at least one. Right. All right. I'm going to answer a couple more of these and then we'll talk about some more stuff with what this live stream is supposed to be about. Will there be any more video essays? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I was really excited about the Rent-A-Girlfriend doing as well as it has. I'm so glad that people enjoyed watching that. That was miserable to read the series, but it ended up being a lot of fun. I ended up having a lot of fun just getting to razz on it a little bit. And there was actually some points of Rent-A-Girlfriend that I thought were interesting to talk about. So yes, I would love to do more video essays. I have some that I want to do. I've got some ideas for some. There's like a horse anime that everybody's raving about. And I'm like, do I need to do a video essay about horse animes and how they're potentially like encouraging people to gamble? The gambling pipeline of horse girl anime. That's what we need to talk about. I want to talk about the repercussions of horse girl anime and gambling. That's what we're going to discuss next. That's my next video essay. But no, there's actually a video essay that I'm doing that is going to be related to Donmai. So it's related to a specific Donmai that I said I would not do a reaction to. And so I'll talk about that in the Scum Villain live stream. But yes, the horse anime and the parallels of gambling. We need to talk about this. Gambling addiction is real. And we need to talk about horse girl anime and how it's impacting in very negative ways. And I just pull out Whiteboard Coon and I do a massive analysis of each horse girl and which ones are more likely to get you down the gambling pipeline. That's going to be my next. I'm not joking. That might be the next video essay I work on because I'm kind of fascinated by everyone's obsession with this horse girl anime. I'm like, one of my students on the team I coach, they saw me in the hallway at the school this summer. I was working and they were like, hey, have you seen this game with this horse girl anime? And it was the same one. I was like, what is happening? Insane. But yes, Gauchun's right testicle says, have you ever heard of Alien Stage? Okay, well, if you are on Patreon, I've been talking about this in the Discord, but I actually am, you've heard it here first if you're not on Discord, but I am actually going to be doing reactions to Alien Stage. There's been some people in the Discord that have got me a a list of how to watch, like a to watch guide of how to do it properly. And so they've got me like the watching with the alien stage shorts and the comics and everything. They've gone to an impressive detail to get this mapped out for me. So I'm going to start doing like one alien stage video a month, I think is what I'm going to do. And I know they're very short videos, but y'all know me, I can talk a lot. So I can talk a lot about each one. So that's the plan. That's the plan. Thank you. About Rent a Girl for Friend. Yes, yeah. So many anime and donghua, so little time. Yes. There's always some big new shonen that's out that everyone hypes up. It can be exhausting to try to keep up with all of them, which is why I ignore 90% of them entirely. I'm very lucky that Patreon has very good taste. The people on Patreon have very good taste, and they have been trying to get me into some more classics. Like we just had a poll of an anime that's going to start on Saturdays in August, which is Steins Gate, and I've heard it's great. So I've actually been wanting to watch that for a long time. So I trust y'all have good taste, and y'all are getting me to watch the classics, which are great, which I'm very, very happy about. So yeah, the story. Oh, I'm glad Tara has finally stopped, and there's a barking from a bunch of dogs in the area. Oh no, I'm actually lucky too. You mentioned a thunderstorm, Annie. It's been raining all day, and there was like a thunderstorm chance this afternoon. And I was like, please let my internet last long enough. Kaiji is about gambling. I know that. I've seen like the little cup with the dice in it, so I know that there's a relation to it. So yes, that one eventually will be on the polls. But yeah, getting back to Ping Pong and Doro and Gunbuster, I feel like we talk about polls. I was really lucky. Ping Pong had been on the polls for a long time, like years on my channel. And when March Comes In Like a Lion was over, I was really happy that it won because it was just a short series. I'm like, oh, this will just be a short series. I'll get through it really quick and then move on. And then by the end of Ping Pong, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want it to end. I wanted it to keep going. I was like, I love Ping Pong so much. And if you all were watching my channel updates, I was advocating for Ping Pong. I'm like, please watch this series because it's so damn good. And I was hoping that people would get into it as much as I was because it was just an amazing series. And then Dororo was the series that, along with Land of the Lustrous, which I'm going to have a live stream about that series in August, that replaced Berserk. And those were big shoes to fill because Berserk was a series, March and Berserk were series that were kind of tied to each other. And I've been watching for a long time. So Dororo and Ping Pong started about the same time, and they were like big shoes to fill. And then they were both really good. I was like, okay, great. So we just went from one great series to another great series. That's how we like to do it here. And then Gunbuster, I will be honest with y'all, I did not think I was ever going to watch Gunbuster because I thought it's a 6-episode series, but people probably aren't going to vote for it because there's other series they could vote for. It'll probably take forever to get to. Poor 91 Days on my channel. I've never gotten to 91 Days because it keeps being second place in the polls or it keeps on getting overlooked. One day I'm just going to have to sit down and watch 91 Days and just break the band-aid off on getting close to side beside me. It let it win. So glad that I got to watch that series because it's so fantastic. Yes, I'm excited. I feel like a lot of people, I'm looking at the chat now, are excited for Steins Gate. Lifo says, I love your reactions towards Alien Sage. Commenting about Land of the Lustrous. Yes, Land of the Lustrous live stream is going to be next month. I'm going to do that with a lot of other manga related series that I've had on the channel. Yeah. So I know 2014 does not seem that long ago. So Ping Pong coming out in 2014 is 11 years ago. That doesn't seem possible. And so when I watched the series, it felt very fresh and very new. And then people are like, oh, this series is a decade old. I'm like, how? How is it that old? That's so crazy. I'm sorry for all these questions. Last one, I swear. Oh no, I'm glad you all asked questions in the live stream. That's the fun thing about live stream is you all are here right now. You can ask these questions. So I'm glad to actually answer them right now. But would you ever pick up any drop series, aka Roomba, Demon Hunter, or Spy Family? Okay, with respect to those three, Ruby, I did do the one season of Ruby, and then I think I started watching volume 9 on my own, but I didn't quite finish it. I kind of lost a little bit of interest in it. My brother finished volume 9, and I was like, I think because I had a lot of expectations about where the story was going, and then it wasn't meeting up to my expectations. So I was like, so I don't know. And now Rooster Teeth is that's a whole debacle. And I'm like, I don't know if I'd go back to Ruby, but I loved Ruby. Like volumes 1 through 8, I was here for. I was living for them. So Demon Hunter, I do want to get back into. I am planning on having at some point a like multi-series poll, and Demon Hunter will be on it because I do want to get back into that series. I really liked it, and I think enough time has passed since a lot of the channels were getting those reactions taken down. Enough time has passed. I think I'd probably have to do timer-based reactions on that one because I'm still a little bit like, I don't want them to take it down, but I definitely want to get back into that one. Spy Family, if y'all watch that video about Buddy Daddies ruining Spy Family for me, I don't know. I honestly wondered if I would ask Patreon and see, like, ask them if they'd be okay if I just watched season 2 of Spy Family and did a video about it. I don't know. A part of me wants to react to it because I reacted to the first season, but I lost a bit of steam with Spy Family. So maybe I'll pick that one. Of the 3 that you listed, Ale, Demon Hunter is definitely the one. Demon Slayer is the one I'd get back into the most because I really do want to react to that one a lot. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you gave Ping Pong a chance. I really love, thank you so much too. I loved watching that series. That series, Ping Pong, it just, to relate all 3 of these shows together, one of the reasons I wanted to put them all together in a live stream is because Ping Pong, Doro, Gunbuster, they are great examples of series that are short, like one season, 11 episodes, 6 episodes, whatever. They're short, but they do so much in the little time that they're given. And I had questions about that I wanted to ask the chat about that. But I love that they're able to do so much character development, so much plot, so many surprises in the short amount of time and go places that I did not expect at all. Because I thought Ping Pong would just be a sports anime. And I was like, oh, is this going to be about ping pong? No, it's about coming of age and about all of these other things that go along with it. And it was just so, so good. I loved it. Let me see here. Steingate's my favorite. Steingate. Yeah. Ping Pong's on my list. I know it's good. You should watch Ping Pong. Highly recommend it. Oro-san says, how was your week? This week was great. I work at a college, and so in the summer, I do go to work, not all week in the summer, but I do go to work sometime during the week at the college, and we have different things that we do and advising and things like that. But my summer is a lot less busy, so I've been trying to get outside and do more and hang out with people and do all that. Sunray, I don't know. This is not close to the end because I still have things to talk about. So surprising no one. Yes, Hood Magic says, I know you read Look Back, the manga, but have you seen the movie? Yes, and I cried. I cried and sobbed. If you see my reaction to the manga, the amount of sobbing I do there, I just do it all over again. In the same places, just the ending of Look Back makes me sob like a baby. But yeah, I also wanted to point out with the 3 series with Ping Pong and Dororo and Gunbuster, the 3 sets of pairs that I thought were really cool throughout. So you have Pico and Smile. You have those 2 as a pair. Then you have Dororo and Hyakimaru and Dororo. And then you have Amano, which I always like to call her Amano. I just feel like Amano is great. And then you have Noriko. So I thought that those 3 pairs, they all were good foils for each other for each of those series. It was so well done. I thought the character work on each of those individuals and those pairs were great. They were fantastic. Would you recommend the manga or movie first for Look Back? The manga. I'd read the manga. I'd read the manga first and then I'd watch the movie, but that's just my opinion. I think that normally I am a anime first, manga second person because my theory is if the manga is really, really good, you would want to watch the anime first so that you're not disappointed when you read the manga and you're like, oh, there's all this cool extra stuff. But in the case of Look Back, I think that the movie met my expectations just as much as the manga. So I would say go with either. I'd say go with either. The trick, if you want to know a secret, if you want to know a secret, like a secret to getting Look Back cheap, and I'm going to just say this, and hopefully people working at Viz aren't watching. But if you go on Viz Media, like Viz.com, I have a subscription with them and it's like $3 for the month. But you get the subscription, then you go to the Shonen Jump, and then you go down. And if you scroll down, Look Back was a special one-shot release. And you can get that for cheap to read. That's what I do. So, but I have the book too. The book's on the shelf as well. So there it is. Yeah, it's right up there. There's the book. So, but you can do that too. Have you seen Sunny Boy? Oh, I have not seen Sunny Boy NYC Reaching, but it is going to be on a poll starting Tuesday. So if you are interested in Sunny Boy on Patreon, I'm going to be having a poll on Tuesday to replace Cherry Magic, and that's going to be one of the options. So we'll see. And you're welcome for the tip. I'm like, if I can find some ways to be official and support the official release, but also do it in a cheap way, I will gladly share those. But yeah, with all three of these series, I loved the duos. Bomation says, back when I got into anime, things like Code Geass and Steins Gates were my fave. Wow. So Steins Gates from around Code Geass time. That's interesting. Yes. And Monster March comes in like a lion. Ping Pong. My taste shift completely. Isn't that funny how that works? I like multiple genres. I can't really think of a genre off the top of my head that I would never react to. Male harem anime and harem manga. If it's like a Rent a Girlfriend, no. If it's like Rent a Girlfriend, I'm going to hard pass. But I could honestly, I think, react to any genre. I think I'm always interested in seeing how storytellers tell their craft in different ways. And I think that's what's kind of cool about all three of these series is you have Ping Pong that is a sports anime, even though it's way more than that. You have Dororo that is kind of a just straight up shonen, even though it's much more than that. And then you have Gunbuster, who is a mech, but way more than that. So I love series that you go in with an expectation of what you're going to get, and then what you get out of it is completely different. That's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Frank says Gunbuster is great with shaping the arc for the pair of Noriko and Amano in those 6 episodes. Noriko starting out with a little confidence in herself and becoming a galaxy-saving badass. Yes! Man, can you believe that Ano worked with Noriko and Shinji in the same era? What different characters. What different characters. I love Noriko. I could cosplay as Noriko. She's so badass. I'm not wearing the same suit that she's wearing. No one wants to see that. But yeah, no, she's so badass. I love her. She just won my heart over in the little time we spent with her in that series. And Frank is exactly right. The character development for Noriko is so fantastic. I love it. Oh, Hood Magic says, forgive me, but the summer Hikaru died is my first BL story, and it's so good. That's your first BL? Hikaru died? Oh, well, guess what? Starting on July 20th, I'm going to be reacting to Summer Hikaru Died. And when I tell you I'm obsessed with a series, when I tell you I'm obsessed with a series, Summer Hikaru Died, those discussions are going to be a little off the rails because I'm pretty excited. The second episode I just finished, and it's like an hour and 10 minutes for the discussion. It's wild. I have a lot to say about that series. So yes, do you have any recommendations that has BL elements, but not fully BL? Ooh, that needs supernatural or something intertwined. Are you wanting canonically BL, or the subtext is literally strewn on so thick you could slather it with a butter knife? Like what? How thick a context are we looking at for the BL? Because you can make a BL out of anything, I would argue. But BL elements that's supernatural or something intertwined. Ooh, that's a really good one. The ones that I'm thinking of they get pretty spicy, Hood Magic, and I don't know if I want to throw you in the deep end on that. I don't know if I want to throw you in the deep end on that. That might get a little crazy. Thicker than Gojo and Geto and Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, so you want legit. Okay. All right. That's the thing. The thing I love about Summer Hikaru Died is that I've not watched a horror anime that has BL elements before, so I think that's why I'm so entranced with this series, because it is unlike anything I've seen, and it's insanely good and well done. So I'm going to think about that, Hood Magic. I'm going to think about that. And then in the Summer Hikaru Died reactions, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, because I'm going to need some time to process like what ones I'd recommend. The ones that I think of are all kind of, I guess, Banana Fish. If you've not seen Banana Fish, read or watch Banana Fish. That's the one I'm going to recommend. I'm not going to say it's supernatural because it's not really, but Banana Fish would be right up there. I'd say go with that one. But I have to think about that for a little bit more time. Have you done any music anime? I'm hopefully waiting for Sound Euphonium reaction of Kyo. Oh, you mentioned Kyoani, and I'm right there. You mentioned Kyoani, and I am locked in. I think I don't think I've done music anime except for the movies. I've listened to Inuo. I've watched Inuo and Blue Giant on the commissions, and those are music related. But there's only so many anime and so little time. But my goal is to get into some more anime. Sound Euphonium is on the short list. Don't worry. It's just finding the time and getting it into that. Hello, Da Possessed. Hello, great to see you in the chat. Hello. Code Geass was younger than Steins Gate. Oh, I didn't realize Steins Gate was this old. Oh, I'm excited. That's exciting. Yes, Hope Worldly. Oh, Hikaru discussions. I'm just there's so much there to dive into. You could just you can dissect it. You can stick your hand up in it. You can move your hand around in it for a while. You can fist those discussions. I'm not going to say any more about that because nobody knows what I'm talking about unless you know that series. Anyway, yes, Jujutsu Kaisen. Homeless, but isn't officially BL. Okay. You can throw me in the rabbit hole. In the rabbit holes where I'm at. So awesome. Thank you. Aboard Burrito says, hi, Romania. Aboard Burrito is amazing. Great username. Hi, Romania. It might be my first comment. Oh, hello. Well, thank you for commenting. I recently started watching your reactions. Utena, Land of the Lustrous, Ping Pong, Trigun, and wanted to say thank you. Well, thank you very much. Those are all, I'm such a huge Trigun fan. Trigun Maximum, the reactions to the last 2 volumes are starting on YouTube this coming week, and they started last week on Patreon. I'm excited to finish Trigun Maximum. Ping Pong has been chef's kiss, and then Land of the Lustrous I'm going to talk about next month as well, but those are great. Given would be the only one that I've considered. Okay, so Anime Annie, Given's really the only music one. I would say Bocchi the Rock. I consider Bocchi the Rock a music anime, so I'm gonna count her as one. Bocchi's a music anime, and she's amazing. So cool. Kyoani is god level animation. I will say for these 3 series, what different styles and taste levels for the animation. Like I said earlier in the live stream, Ping Pong, I had to get into it after the first episode, but then I was just, the style was amazing and I was here for it. I would say Gunbuster, the animation style is so good. It's so detailed. It's so grungy. I was really amazed with Gunbuster because you're in space. So you think it's going to be very cold and it's going to be very kind of, because a lot of modern movies that are space are very clinical, very like minimalist, very metallic. And Gunbuster is so vibrant. There's so many colors and the space monsters in it feel very organic and just feel it's just very vibrant and saturated. And I wasn't expecting that out of a series taking place in space. So that was a pleasant surprise. I would say I don't want to slander Dororo too much, but of the 3 series we're talking about, Gunbuster and Ping Pong are like way up here for me on my list of just amazing series. And Dororo is here. Dororo is good. Dororo is good. I get mad at Mappa for some of Dororo because if you've watched that series with me, then you know that there's parts of Dororo that I'm like, did you outsource this, Mappa? This wasn't COVID years yet, so you don't have an excuse. So that's the only series that I'm kind of like, but Ping Pong and Gunbuster just top tier animation. Absolutely love it so much. I was going to ask, I had a series of questions to ask the chat and talk about, but my thing is, if you all, Hope Worldlian says, Doro has a few ellipses lacking episodes. Yes, it's a good way of describing it. Oh, Da Possessed, you're the only BL connoisseur YouTube reactor I can tolerate. Love the reactions. Well, thank you. I'm glad to tolerate my fangirling because I've watched some series where I've been like, oh, that's a ship. And people in the comments will be like, that's a ship. How? I was like, no, that's a ship. And I will not shy away from making anything a BL. Anything can be a BL. Anything can be a BL if you work hard enough. But also the horses in Dororo, man. Anime Annie points that out in the chat. The horses in Dororo, we're talking about horse girl anime. Look, that one horse at the end, she had a lot of problems. She deserved to kill all those people because they were horrible to her. But yeah, some of the horses I liked when I was doing editing. I get a screenshot of one of the horses in Dororo, and I just take the picture of it and put it in the Discord, be like, here it is. But yeah, no. Doro deserved better. But then again, when you watch the 1960s anime, you're like, yeah, that checks out. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, don't deny it. Hey, if you are on Patreon, then you know that my reaction to Deadpool and Wolverine just came out. And if you're not on Patreon, it's coming out next week. And if you think I'm not going to be shipping Deadpool and Wolverine, well, you are wrong. I was not expecting that. Biggest surprise of the summer. Love it. NYC Racing, this is just my camera on my computer. I'm really questioning if I should just ditch the webcam and just use this. Because people were like, man, the webcam looks really great. And I'm like, this is just the computer screen. I was like, man, have I been doing this wrong? And do I just adjust the angle and get up here and then just, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to find a higher chair or something. I'll get a little like one of those chairs that kids sit in at restaurants that props them up, and then that's it, you know? Yes, and by the way, this is Burt Reynolds. It was given to me for my birthday. Yes. There we go. But yeah, so I was going to ask the chat, because I have some chat questions I want to ask you all about these series. With short stories, do you... Okay, Hope Worldian, this is a standing desk. I have a platform where it will raise up like a standing desk. I'm not even joking. I could go into teacher mode. I could do reaction standing up. I could. I was considering it at one point. So if I might have to try it. I don't know how people will react to me just standing there freaking out rather than sitting down, but it might be healthier. So who knows? I could go full teacher with this. So Legend of the Galactic Heroes Bomation, that is going to be on, I do know for sure that's going to be on a poll later this fall when Natsume's Book of Friends is over. That one's going to be on it for sure. What a snazzy shirt. Well, thank you, Nicholas. It was given to me as a gift. It was a gag gift, but I kind of love it. The Deadpool Wolverine reaction is coming next Friday, so get ready. It's fantastic. I love that movie so much. I had never seen it before. Great times. Take the webcam out back and send it back from whence it came. It's like Arrested Development. Go back from whence you came. Wouldn't that be uncomfortable? Well, yeah, the long reactions Oro standing up would be really uncomfortable. So we'll see where that goes. Hood Magic says their tops and bottoms in every series. You know what? There are. There really are. Oh man, full teacher mod. That's what we need to go. Well, thank you very much, Phantasm. I appreciate that. Thank you. But what I was going to ask the chat is short stories. We have Ping Pong, we have Dororo, we have Gunbuster. Do you all prefer short series that can get the character work and development done in as time as this, or do you all prefer the longer series? Like I'm doing Natsume's Book of Friends, Word of Honor. I've done March Comes In Like a Lion, Berserk, Monster, the longer series. Do you all prefer those? Or do you prefer short series? Because honestly, a lot of people on Patreon have asked me to listen to short series, mainly so I can get through more anime quicker. But I'm curious to know, like, when you all watch reactors and watch series, do you prefer the short series like Ping Pong and Gunbuster, or do you prefer the long ones? Blackwind says, hi, I caught a live stream. Yes, 4 a.m. Oh my gosh. If I was at 4 a.m., I'd probably have my phone and just be watching the live stream like, yes. Girls Last Tour. Girls Last Tour is, I believe, going to be on the poll on Tuesday on Patreon. There's a whole bunch of shows on Patreon that's going to be on the Tuesday poll. But yeah, I think that'll be one. There's a reactor named Mortius who does reaction standing up. I think it'll be fine in terms of audience reception. Thank you, Sunray. I think, doesn't Tiabu, am I saying it right? I always feel like Tiabu, do they do their reaction standing up? I think they've done some of them. I've watched some of their reactions standing up. I'm pretty sure. I'd prefer the long ones. Okay. Hope Worldlian says, I love a longer series, but short series that wrap up nicely are really great. I feel a lot of them get rushed through. Yes. Oh my gosh. H Banana 7's 10 a.m. Oh, 10 a.m. there. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I feel like Ping Pong and Gunbuster were so good at wrapping up. They were so good from start to finish in their pacing and their plot development and everything that I wanted them to be longer, but I wasn't disappointed with them being where they were. Dororo, I thought, could have been a couple episodes longer, honestly. And because I felt like some of the episodes of Dororo were rushed. And I was like, why did that happen? But why was that? And then I think if they'd had an extra episode or two, they could have gotten more into to explain that. Zikatar says, I find well done shorts, Buddy Daddies, A Place for the Universe are so much better. I think as long as you can tell the story and get your character, I think it's all how you do character development. Because I think Ping Pong and Gunbuster are excellent examples of character development in a short amount of time, but get so much in. And they do it so well. So I agree with that. I like both as long as the long series don't overstay their time. If the show is enjoyable for its entire length, then I'm happy. Yeah, some shows I've been told are so long they start to wear out the welcome. So that's a good point. Tiabu stands sometimes, but not all the time. Okay, that's good to know. The discussions I've seen from them, they are standing. So that's good that maybe I could do it sometimes, but not all the time. Maybe if I'm feeling like standing up one day, or if I feel like it's going to be a series where I may jump around or go crazy, I could stand up for that. Maybe go in teacher mode. Something in the middle is best. A good amount of content that has enough time, maybe 20 to 30 episodes. It's kind of like a Trigun. Trigun was like a 25 episode series, so that's true. Yeah, I feel like a lot of modern anime try, and what I like about these three series is that I think a lot of modern anime try to do like just the 12 episode cores, or they try to fit too much into that 12 episode chunk that they either become manga bait and they don't go any further and they're like, okay, go read the manga now, we're done. Or you have to wait several years in between, which can be frustrating depending on where the series ends. So I get that. A bored burrito says, I think short stories can be way more polished and more experimental story wise, but there's something that can't be replaced by going on a long journey. That's true. It's the investment. It is the investment. Although I feel like with Ping Pong and Gunbuster, by the time it was over, you were like, okay, we ended on a good note. Let's not ruin that. That's how I felt about Gunbuster. I was like, okay, we all ended good. Let's not wear out that welcome. Let's just end it now while everybody's okay and go from there, right? Girls Last Tour, no one ever watches it. I know. I do like asking Patreon for suggestions because I feel like Patreon gives a lot of gems that haven't been seen by a lot of reactors that they know are like underrated and should be. And I really appreciate getting those recommended. Bomation says, I like both Ping Pong, Fooly Cooly. I need to rewatch Fooly Cooly. I just do. I need to react to that at some point because I haven't seen it since I was like 14 and I know I didn't appreciate it then. And then Monster March comes in, Kaiji. Yeah. Like, for example, Golden Kamui has been recommended and Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And I know those series are so long. And like Hunter x Hunter, they're so long and they'd be worth the journey. But it's like you can't have a whole channel of just the same 7 shows for 2.5 years. You gotta, I want to get some other fresh shows in there as well, right? It depends on the series rather than the format. Frank A says, short series are great. A long series can be an investment and worth watching, but it's hard when you're watching 8 different anime. Oh my gosh. Well, yes, I know exactly what you mean because yeah, it's like on my channel, I've got like 9 shows going at once. And it really is like the ones there has to be a variety because there's some shows that I'm like, I've invested a year and a half of watching week to week. And then there's others I'm like, okay, that was 12 episodes. We're done. We're moving on. So you do need that variety. I think that that's important. Ping Pong is such an exceptional example of efficient character writing. Yes, absolutely. With how big the cast was, they got so much character development done in 12 episodes. I actually wrote that down. I was like looking at the character list because Gunbuster is the most recent that I finished. So, and really, Gunbuster is a very small cast. It's like 3 girls, a coach, and randos. And then, of course, Smith. But that series, it's very easy to keep track of characters. And then you have Dororo, which has a little bit of a bigger cast, but it's more like 4 main people and a big ensemble. And then Ping Pong, for as short as it is, has so many. You've got Smile, you've got Pico, you've got Dragon, you've got Sonata, you've got Sakuma, you've got the coach Koizumi, and you've got Obaba, you've got Oda, you've got like a whole host of characters to keep track of. So yeah, I definitely think that Ping Pong was an amazing example of a show that could handle all those characters and balance it really, really well. And that, to me, that's a sign of a really good author. If you can develop your characters that well in a short amount of time and go through that many, and it felt satisfying. Like I never felt, I would have liked to see a little bit more of Sonata personally, but that was just me and my shipping going on in that series with Yuri and Sonata. But overall, I was like, I couldn't complain because every character got a storyline and an arc, and that was really cool. I thought that was really, really well done. Anime Annie says, short series that do the story justice, I enjoy. If it's slice of life, I feel shorter series don't make it feel too repetitive, instead are a nice, relaxing watch. Yeah, surprisingly, Natsume's Book of Friends, when I got into the first season, I was like, oh, this series is 7 seasons long, but it's done a really good job of keeping my attention, and it's a whole thing. We're gonna have to do a whole live stream on just that series alone, but it's really good at that. Bomation says, when it's long like One Piece, oh God, I don't think I can start another one as long. I'm only following it because I've been a fan as a kid. Yeah, One Piece, just to go off on a quick tangent, One Piece is the anti-Ping Pong. One Piece is the anti-Gunbuster. One Piece is like, I feel like it's a good thing they made the live action, because if you don't want to get invested in a 1,000 episode saga or a 100 volume manga, you just watch the live action and it's an abridged version and you're good to go. But yeah, I started reading One Piece like back in 2002. So I've been reading it for like 23 years. And that's like literally just me keeping up with it because I'm like, I just want to know how Oda's going to end it. Have you heard of Jormungand? It's about weapon dealers and is a hidden gem. Interesting. No, I have not. That's, yeah, Smith Nicholas, all the tears. No, I've not heard about that one. I'll have to put that one down. Speaking of One Piece, the mangaka say he didn't believe anyone's a genius until they read Ping Pong. Yes, I'm glad we brought up One Piece because Oda is one of my favorite storytellers. I think he's a genius. I don't know how this man keeps all those storylines intact. He just goes all over the place with them, but somehow makes them all wrap around. It boggles my mind. But when I read that he said that no one is a genius until you've read Ping Pong, I was like, that's how you know. Because if one of the big people is saying that series is amazing, I'm like, yes. I'm sure most here agree, but your reaction library feels more created and cherished versus the what's airing right now reactors. Well, thank you. Yeah, I know a lot of reactors do like whatever's popular in the moment. Here's my problem with that. And that is, I remember there was a series, and I don't know if I want to say what it is because I may react to it someday. Who knows? But I remember this one series came out and everybody was like, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. And it was like, everyone was demanding that I watch it. And I just didn't have time on my channel for it. And I was like, well, maybe one day. And then after about 11 weeks, radio silence. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody was mentioning it. And I'm like, why is nobody talking about this series anymore? Are they still wanting me to react to it? And then everybody was like, no, it ended bad. Don't do it. No. And so that's like, I feel like I kind of want to get a second opinion. I kind of want the fans' reception first. Like if it's based off of a manga and people are like, oh no, the story's really good, you're going to like it no matter what. I'm like, okay. But if it's an anime original and it starts out really good, but then suddenly it ends very badly, I would feel kind of mad as you all would if I had invested all my time in that series and then it turned out bad. And I'm like, you mean I've been watching this week to week for 3 months and then suddenly it's not good? So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to start new series unless I am like die hard gung ho about them. I like to give them a little time to marinate and cook. And I know that's not good for the algorithm and that's not, I'm not on the bandwagon necessarily, but Summer Hikaru died, for example. I had people wanting me to read the manga for that series 3 years ago. And so I was like, oh, I don't know when I get to it. And then last year when it was announced they were doing the anime, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to wait. So I feel like starting that series fresh makes sense because it's been recommended for a long time. And I was like, okay, people are still recommending it. It's still good. So, well, Z Guitar, no, it was not The Promised Neverland. I'll tell you which anime it was. Or yeah, you guys can. I don't really want people to guess because then I don't want to like accidentally get spoiled. I'll tell you all what it was. It was Wonder Egg Priority. That's what it was. Wonder Egg Priority was the series that was like holistically recommended, and then suddenly it was like blah blah, don't do it. But yeah, so that was the one. That was the one. And I was like, yeah, maybe not. So with the and I know only about what the second season, and honestly, I think I would do a deep dive into Promised Neverland. I did think about this earlier this summer of doing a deep dive into Promised Neverland where I would record reactions to series for season 1 and put them out on like Patreon and then do reactions to season 2 just for the giggles, but do a video about it. So one day, maybe, who knows? Let me see here. I did I overlay. Oh yeah. So now to be fair, Jane Doe in the chat, some of Natsume's characters do look like Pokemon. But I got over that after the first couple seasons. No, I really like that. Ooh, here we go. Somebody says, oh, I want to go up here and says, can you rank the protagonists of Ping Pong, Doro, and Gunbuster from your favorite to least favorite? I actually had that on here, so I'm glad we're getting into that. Okay. So protagonists of Ping Pong and Doro and Gunbuster from favorite to least favorite. Ooh, you make that difficult. You make that difficult. Well, that's a hard question. They're also different. Okay, if I had to, because you're forcing me at gunpoint to do this, I would say that my favorite pairing is probably Pico and Smile from Ping Pong of the 3, and I only say that because I felt that Pico and Smile started out in a way that I was expecting and then completely changed. I thought Pico was gonna be a character that I wasn't gonna like at all. I had a lot of problems with Pico at the beginning, and then about halfway through the season, my views on Pico changed 180, complete 180. Absolutely loved him from that point on, and then completely changed. So yeah, I was like, awesome. I just Pico and Smile are probably my favorites. And then it gets really hard. I would honestly say Dororo and Hyakimaru, but then Noriko and Amano. I'm gonna say Noriko and Amano. I'm gonna say Noriko and Amano because even though I love Dororo so much, Dororo is a precious angel baby that can do no wrong. And Hyakimaru, I feel like I got more. This is weird to say. I got more character development out of Noriko than I did Hyakimaru, and it was like a 20 episode difference. Is that shady? Is that shady to say? Is that shady to say that Noriko, I got more character development out of her in 6 episodes than I did Hyakimaru in 24? Because I did, but I do think in terms of the side characters and other protagonists, I do like Dororo more than Amano, so it kind of balances out. But I would say Pico and Smile kind of rank up there. Let me see. What other we have in the chat here? Is Orb on your list to watch? Oh, Hood Magic Orb was on the same poll as Steins Gate, and it lost by like this much, but it's gonna be on the poll on Tuesday on Patreon. So maybe it'll do better on that poll. So yeah, maybe perhaps. But yeah, everybody's like, I had a feeling it was Wonder Egg priority. Yeah, what a weird. I don't know anything about that show. I just know that everyone's hyping it up, and then it just went radio silence. And I was like, oh, okay. What was your Car X Swing says, what was your favorite moment from Gunbuster, Ping Pong, and Doro? Oh, I had down here best of the series. Okay. So favorite moment of Gunbuster, Ping Pong. Oh, Gunbuster, when she rips her boob out. No, I'm kidding. No, not that one. So Gunbuster, my favorite moment is probably, and I'm going to try not to spoil people with any of these series. So if you've not watched them, you will go watch them because you should watch this one. I would say that my favorite from Gunbuster was definitely the moment when she is in her room and she knows she has to do the thing. It's an episode. It's in episode 4. She knows she has to do the thing, and then she makes the decision to better herself. She's inspired by someone she's lost, and she goes back to the coach and she's like, get me in the damn robot, Shinji. And he's like, okay, yes. So that would be my favorite moment of Gunbuster. I loved that one. And then for Ping Pong, my favorite moment is the whole final tournament matches. I can't pick just one. I think honestly, Sakuma confronting Dragon in the bathroom is one of my favorite moments. But honestly, the final match between when Pico's facing everyone, Pico versus everyone is my favorite part of Ping Pong. And I did not expect it to happen. And I didn't expect to be rooting for him so hard, but that's my favorite part of Ping Pong. And then my favorite moment of Dororo, probably my favorite moment of Dororo is the flame horse rising from the grave. No, my favorite part of Dororo is definitely Jukai and Dororo's episode where they have Wiru Senpai, I looked down at the chat. The Christmas montage with Wenge singing the karaoke and being with his team. Amazing moment. That one's right up there. Yes, please. But yeah, I'd say with Dororo, it's Jukai and Hyakimaru's conversation, the episode they have together. That's probably my favorite from Dororo. That was really, really good. Yeah, there's just so many good moments in Ping Pong that picking one is hard. Gunbuster has some iconic moments, and Doro has some iconic moments, but Ping Pong is just like, it's good from end to end, so it's hard to pick just one, right? People are talking about Wonder Egg. I hope more BL series get picked up and animated. Yes, I definitely want to add more BL stuff to the channel as I go, even if they're just like one-shot mangas or stuff like that. I've got a couple bought that I want to get to this fall, so hopefully. It isn't shady. A little dude said, hey, little dude. I haven't seen any of these shows, but I had to drop in and say hello. I've been loving the videos lately. Well, thank you so much. I highly recommend Gunbuster and Ping Pong and Doro as well, in that order, because that's the length of them. So if you get time to watch them. Okay, what's Tuesday Polls theme? So on Patreon, I had the Wheel of Fate, when Gunbuster was chosen. I had 12 shows and the wheel of fate was spun and it landed on Gunbuster, and there were 11 shows left, and they were the top 12 most recommended shows by patrons. So I felt bad. I only chose one of the top 12. So I decided I'd say, okay, well, I'll let Patreon decide, but if they want me to, I'll go back and do a poll of the other 11 and see which one they actually would have voted for in a fair vote. So the poll on Tuesday is going to literally be the 11 shows that were left and what Patreon would actually pick as the winner. So it's going to be interesting to see what Patreon picks as the show that would have won between the 11 that remains. Technically 10 that remains, because Odd Taxi was one of them. So, and I'm watching Odd Taxi now. I'm starting this week on Patreon and next week on YouTube. So there's going to be 10 shows on the Patreon poll for Tuesday. And those 10 shows you guys are going to get to vote between. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, am I just going to do just my camera on my computer from now on? Because that's all this is. I love it. Orb has a cult following. I could gather that because there's a lot of people on Patreon that were like, Orb, Orb, Orb. And I was like, I don't know what this show is, but y'all, I feel like you're in robes. I feel like there are tortures involved, and I feel like you're going to hand me a glass of Kool-Aid. So yes. Yumi31. Hi, Romania. The first time joining live. Oh, thank you. I love all your reactions. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All of my love as well. I definitely want to do different times for these live streams to try to let people get on. Oh, yes. Hello, Fazbear. Yes. Good morning. It's so weird that it's morning for you and it's night for me. That is so wild. I'm so glad you all got to see this live. Awesome. Yes, Hood Magic. This live stream is going to be up on the lives archive on my channel, and I'm going to put it up on Patreon as well, even though it's been all over the place. We still got stuff to talk about with Ping Pong in there. The Christmas montage, Mama. Oh, yes, Mama. Anime Annie, that part of Dororo with the mother, the flashback. Really good, really good. Wingay's Christmas, that was awesome. I love that in Ping Pong. What have we got? Pico's match with Kazuma. The whole theme of heroes in Ping Pong. Honestly, the theme of hero is something that kind of transcribes between all three series, and the way that they analyze what a hero is for all three series is they approach it in similar ways, but you have, like in Ping Pong, what we recognize as a hero, and how that the character that declares themselves the hero and how they become that. And it's kind of the same in Gunbuster, where you have the character who claims they're a hero and kind of has to rise to the occasion. And then Hyakimaru and Dororo kind of take the whole hero theme and kind of break it down and deconstruct it in a different way than Ping Pong and Gunbuster do. But I really, really enjoy it. Yes. So what have we got on here? I'm glad you decided to pick up more BL on the channel. Oh yes, I'd missed some BL on the channel, so we needed to feed my unhealthy obsession. I had so many BL ships in Ping Pong, even though there's like hardly any ships in Ping Pong, except the one guy that gets married. And I was like, oh, just have to have a BL in everything. The Christmas scene in Ping Pong is one of my favorites too. That's a really good vote. Let me see here. The Princess Principal. Oh my gosh, yes. There's an anime I want to recommend, but they removed it from a lot of streaming platforms recently. Oh no! Out of curiosity, Fazbear, what is the anime they've removed from streaming platforms? I'm very curious because honestly, when I was doing, Gunbuster was on the streaming service, which was fine, but when I was doing Revolutionary Girl Utena, that one got taken down, and I actually had a patron send me the links to Utena, so that was really good. Let me see, what was the one? I'm looking down here. Which one was it? Oh yeah, and NOO was done by Ping Pong's director. So good. Let me see here. Noragami. Interesting. Noragami was taken down. I've had that recommended a lot. So here's the thing that I'm very fortunate with. I'm very lucky with Patreon because there are a handful of patrons that have been super reliable, that if a series is taken down, they're like, oh, I got files, don't you worry. And I was like, I feel like I'm hacking into a secret base to get these series to watch. So if Noragami does win, but that's weird. I swear I saw that, like a thumbnail of that being offered. I wonder why it's being taken down. That's really sad. Maybe it's like a licensing thing. Maybe when they get licensing all figured out, they'll put it back up. Who knows? Interesting. Oh yes, Bomation, Odd Taxi. I am in love with it so far. It's so good. Yumi, what is the order that you are talking about? I'm very curious. Oh, the order. I've got to write down. Was that for your question? Okay. The order of the protagonists would be Smile and Pico, Noriko and Amano, and then Doro and Hyakimaru. That would be my order of the protagonists. That'd be the way I would do it. But it could vary. You could argue that they're all three really good. I had no idea you were going to react to Cherry Magic. Yes, I love that series. A big hug towards all the patrons. Yes, and food shows. I've had a lot of fun. I need to go back and do more Dungeon Meshi cooking things. I have 2 more cooking videos for Dungeon Meshi that I want to do at some point this summer with my brother. It just depends on when he gets off of work and can come and assist. So my thing was the genre as far as sports anime, because we have these 3 series, but Ping Pong is not necessarily a sports anime. Gunbuster is not necessarily a mech, although it's probably the closest to its genre. And then Doro is not necessarily like a battle shonen. So I kind of enjoyed all 3 of these series because I had expectations of how they were going to go, and then they completely subverted them by the end. Jane Doe says, do Code Geass. Ha! Well, unfortunately, Huckleberry is laying at my feet, so I can't get to it. But underneath my desk, I have like the collector's set of Code Geass that I got when I was in high school because I really liked Code Geass. So unfortunately, I've already reacted to that. Did you say Code Gay Ass? Is that what that says? That's derogatory. What? Look, we can all ship BL in anything. I will never, as you all know, all ships are valid. We can always explore ships and shows. Shipping is fun. The word I had on here, the best of each series. What does you say there, Fazbear? The sadness when you write something and then the anime goes away. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, well, maybe it'll come back up, perhaps. I had down here what the best of each series were, and that was the question that Yumi asked, or what they asked earlier. I also had down what was the worst part of each series because I feel like it's worth discussing. And sometimes the worst part is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like what part was the most frustrating about each series. And I wanted to kind of talk about that. I would say the most frustrating part about Ping Pong is the fact that it's only 11 episodes and I can watch a whole series about ping pong. But honestly, if I'm giving like not a pageant answer, but a real answer, I honestly wanted more in Ping Pong with Sonata and Yuri. And I kept thinking the show was going to give us more with them, especially because Sonata, not to get too much into spoilers of Ping Pong, this one character develops kind of a crush on this girl that kind of has a crush on the guy's like teammate. And you think it's going to develop into like a love triangle or something like that. And then it just kind of drops off. And that was my only thing with Ping Pong that I would have changed, would be to either give more to that love triangle or that story, or give more to the storyline with the coaches, especially the coach for Kazuma's team, and then Koizumi and Obata. I wanted more between them too. But that's honestly the only 2 things I would change with Ping Pong. Everything else is like perfection. So those were the things I wanted to change about that series. And I don't know if you all had other things you would change about Dororo, Gunbuster, or Ping Pong. With Dororo, I talked about it in the discussions, there were some parts of Dororo towards the end that I felt were rushed, or I felt needed like more explanation. And I talked about it in the final episode of how the manga and the OG anime treated it differently than that one. So we have that. And then the worst part about Gunbuster, other than the fact that 6 episodes, you all know what that is. You all know my answer to that question. I don't even have to chat what Romania's least favorite part of Gunbuster is. Guess. So Tahomaru in Dororo. That is the one character I wanted to change up so badly in Dororo. I was very frustrated with that character, and that's all I'm going to say. But I was very frustrated. I was like, Spazbear says, I have your reaction to Skate the Infinity OVA to watch later. Oh, yes. Oh, the Skate the Infinity OVA is amazing. Love it. Here's my thing about Gunbuster that I will say. I had a lot of people having me worried when I started to watch it because they were like, oh, I don't know if you're going to like this, Romania. I don't know if you're going to be into Gunbuster. I don't know. And I think it was because there is, it's not hentai. It's not. There's only a few moments where I'm like, okay, show. But I really was expecting a lot more nudity in Gunbuster. I was expecting, from the way that people kind of acted at the beginning when I started it, I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting some explicit, like, problematic things in Gunbuster, and I was very happy that there wasn't. And I was very happy that the fan service was, for the most part, kind of tongue in cheek, like, you know what we're doing. Like the show is like giving you a wink and breaking the fourth wall and telling you what it's doing. And I appreciate that. I'm okay with that. Do I think that our coach should have got in on the action too for equity's sake? Yes. Yes. Oh, Gunbuster is what non-anime fans think all anime is. I think that somebody would be trying to. I honestly think that if somebody tuned into Gunbuster, all they would see is like the really tight 1980s gym outfits and the one scene where Noriko like exposes her boob, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's anime." And it's like, "No, no, 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 no. You got to watch the whole thing." It's like you're a fan begging them like, "No, watch the whole thing. You'll understand. Trust me." Was it Masato and Kaji banging for 13 minutes off screen levels? No, it was not. I didn't mind that, but it was not that. That's what I was expecting it to be. Little dude, I was expecting Gunbuster to be that, but it was not. And I was very happy. I was like, okay, good. Glad that we kept it classy, San Diego. Glad that we kept it classy in this. But the whole ripping of that moment was just at the end. I was like, but was that necessary? It felt like HBO. It felt like watching season 1 of Game of Thrones, where there's been no nudity for a while, and you're like, oh, okay, we're past that. And they're like, never mind, quota. And then it's just like a shirt off. Some of it was ridiculous. Like there was a locker room scene that I was like, okay, all right. But I really feel bad when I tell people that I like anime, and people, I can see in their minds, like if you ever talk to somebody and they're like, well, what do you watch? And you're like, oh, I watch anime. And you can just see the gleam in their eye. You can see what they're thinking. And you can tell that they're thinking of like scenes like what has Gunbuster has in it and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, no, 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 no. You can just tell what they're thinking of. And it's like, no, that's not it. So no. Zikatar the Immortal, please open more commission tiers or a limited number of consecutive months. I honestly, if I'm being real with you all, I did not expect the commission tier to be full as often as it is. There were 2 people that got in on this one, and I'm sorry. I'm only doing enough commissions right now to fill up the Friday slot because that's all I have time for right now. We shall see in the future where that goes with it, but all I can say is just like pop in and see if there's a spot open. That's all I can say, because some people are like, they're being super generous and kind, and who am I to say no to that? But I was like, I'm honestly amazed and humbled and very grateful of what people have been commissioning, because watching all these movies has been so much fun and I've enjoyed it. I talk to people on the Patreon, but I love seeing commissions of what people love the most, and it gets me into kind of like what they're into, and I think that's really, really cool. Little dude, is the Rent a Girlfriend video a video essay? Yes, it is a video essay. I slogged through 2 weeks straight of reading that stupid series so I could make that video. I can say it was a stupid series because it was, and I'm not ashamed to talk shit about it. So what an interesting somebody owns 40 volumes of that series. Someone owns 40 volumes of that series, and it's not even spicy. There are BL out there that I could have 40 volumes worth. There are BL that I'd be like, yes, give me 40 volumes of that smut, but you no. No. Anyway, good old Bus Gunner. Oh my God, Bus Gunner is amazing. Hello, Nicholas. Bus Gunner is great. But you know what? The only thing I regret is the outfit they left Amano in the last episode. Why couldn't she stay in that the whole time? That outfit looked amazing on her. She looked very voluptuous, very classy. Why couldn't they leave her in that? It's a sad day. Thunderstorm and heavy rains have finally stopped, so I don't have Staffy cuddling into me. Yeah, I got lucky that the rain seems to have left, which is good. I can't hear it anymore, so that's great. Hope World in. Oh, random question. Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once? No, I have not seen that film. I have been wanting to see it, but I keep wondering if somebody would commission it. So I have not seen it yet, but I've heard it's amazing. That and Parasite are 2 films that I really, really want to see, but I've not seen yet. So we'll hold out on those. Little dude says 45 minutes of you reading a series. I'm not reading the whole series, but I'm reading the series, like just talking dirt about it. So maybe that's what you meant. Have you seen any of Satoshi Kon's works, Perfect Blue? Yes, I have. There is a reaction on my channel to Paprika. I think if it's not on YouTube, it's on Patreon. I've reacted to Paprika, it's on Patreon, and I've reacted to Perfect Blue, that's on Patreon. Those two series were ones I did before I started the commission tier, so they're on there. And Tokyo Godfathers is on there as well. So I think so. But I haven't watched all the Cone works, but I love his stuff. It's amazing. Love it. I'd rather read BL volumes as punishment than reading Rent a Girlfriend. BLs are never punishment. They are never punishment. But yes, Rent a Girlfriend is just yes. Both movies. Oh, interesting. We have very different views on that. That's exciting. I like a movie that gets some different garnering opinions. The coach should have had a revealing outfit too. Nicholas is speaking my language. Where was Coach Oda and Gunbuster? Where were his short shorts? Where were those short shorts? Where were the tearaways? Where was his steamy shower scene? I feel like it's a little bit ableist that we didn't show a shower scene with him. Was it because he has a cane? I think that's ableist. So where was that? Oda, not Oda, but yeah, Ota. Yeah, we needed that, honestly. Are you watching All Stars 10? Little dude says, yes, I am. I am watching Drag Race All Stars 10. Like a fool. Like a fool. My first anime after a long hiatus was Demon Slayer and then Death Note, and I dropped into a deep hole afterwards. Death Note's great. Death Note is fantastic. Love that series. Demon Slayer is really good too. Hi, Kaylin V. I showed up to hear steamy showers. What's going on? We're talking about how the coach and Gunbuster, I feel like all of the girls and the shower locker room scenes we saw with them and Gunbusters, which weren't terrible, but there's some boobage in Gunbuster. If you go and watching Gunbuster, expect to see some female breasts. They're going to be there. I just feel as if it would be equitable if the hot coach in Gunbuster had a steamy shower scene. I don't think I'm asking for much. He's one character. We saw like 5 girls and their boobs. Why can't we see one guy? I feel like it's equitable. I feel like it's fine. I wouldn't have complained. Where's my director's cut, Ano? I will accept commissions now. So yeah. Oh, the Bochi upload. Yes. I'm so sad that I'm caught up with Bochi the Rock. That's very, very sad. The Tatas, the bias of the Tatas. You know what? I'm just about equity. If you're going to show lady Tatas, you need to show some guy gonads. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that touches all of the bases. That was a terrible wording. Just dropping by to say hello. Your reaction lineup is seriously goated. Thank you, Natsume, Bochi, Chiaya Furu. Oh, so good. I've been enjoying your reactions a lot. Well, thank you very much. Chiaya Furu was a fantastic series to follow up Ping Pong. I think if any series could do it, it's that one. So I'm really, really excited about that as well. Thank you. And Dino Ace for the steamy showers. Absolutely. And for the coaches who have horse parts as well. Speaking of horse anime. I have not seen Millennium Actress, little dude. So that one does need to get commissioned. Absolutely. Oh, Vivacious, my queen. We could have a whole drag race live stream at some point, but that would be not related to this channel at all. I also have in here unexpected twists and turns. What I want to talk about with the series, unexpected twists in Ping Pong, unexpected twists in Dororo, unexpected twists in Gunbuster. And I would ask the chat kind of like your unexpected twists from those series, what you all thought as well. So I would say with Ping Pong, honestly, the whole storyline with Smile and Peko, that whole storyline was a big twist for me because I did not see the character roles that they had kind of reversing like they did. So I thought that was really good. The ending with Wenge, Kong was one of my favorites in that entire series. I loved Kong. He was my Oikawa. I loved Kong so much. He was my Oikawa. His karaoke at Christmas was so good. And his final story, I was like, mwah. I thought it was so good. The twists and turns with Dororo, I think the twist and turn of how that series ends really caught me off guard, but in a good way. I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. And then, yes, the Smile nickname twist. Yes, that with Ping Pong. So good. Yes, please. What have we got here? Bomation says, I heard tomorrow's Joe is said to be, the only other equal parts show sports to Ping Pong. I guess is Ashido no Joe, is that the same? It's like, isn't, I think did Megalobox, is that the updated version of Ashito no Joe? Maybe, possibly. I definitely think a boxing anime is in my future at some point. It's going to happen. It's going to be Hajime no Ippo, or it's going to be Ashito no Joe, or it's going to be Megalobox, or one of those. It's going to be one of those up there is going to eventually happen on the channel, I'm pretty sure. Although Medalist has gotten a lot of traction on Patreon. Medalist, everybody keeps recommending Medalist, and I was like, okay, I think it's about ice skating, but I heard that it's really good. What else do we have on here? Yep, the nickname twist. Wingate being such a great guy. I loved Wingate. He's my Oikawa. I love him so much. Love it. I can understand the humor taking people out of it. Interesting. I guess, oh, you guys are talking about another movie up there. Yeah, Kong. Sakuma was maybe the most unexpected character. Yes, Sakuma was amazing in Ping Pong. I thought that it was really going to be about the two main guys because they were friends. And then when Sakuma came along and went, like Kong, I thought was going to be the main rival. And what they did with his character really surpassed what I thought. But I thought Sakuma was going to be like a one episode, one off. That's all we're going to see him. And then he has a huge role in the whole series. And I was like, where did this come from? It was fantastic. So aboard Burrito, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I feel like with Gunbuster, the twists and turns, episode 3 of Gunbuster, when I started watching Puella Magi Monica Magica, which is, up there's that representation. When I started watching that series, everyone was telling me that episode 3 is the one where things get real. And ever since I've seen that series, I was like, now whenever I watch the 3rd episode, I'm like, okay, the 3rd episode is the one. We're going to see what happens. And with Gunbuster, that 3rd episode, if you're not on board episodes 1 and episode 2, I would say watch episode 3. And if you're still not on board, then fine, ditch the series. But I think if you watch episode 3 of Gunbuster, you'll be like, oh no, I'm in. Because it's so good. That twist with that character in that episode, just fantastic. Love it. You thought it was Kong, but it was really me, Sakuma. That's the only JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference I know, and it's one I will spam until the end of time, until I see JoJo's, which may be next year. Who knows? But yes. Fosbear says, may I ask what series are being pulled now? I will tell you all. Let me get on my phone real quick, and I will tell you all what is in the poll for this coming up this Tuesday. I'm going to show it for you all so you guys will kind of know, because people are like, what are you going to be reacting to? So let me get that on here and I'll see what other. Okay, everyone suddenly figured out that I've not seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And now, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Okay, I want you all to hear me out. I want you to hear me out on this one. Because what is taking so long for JoJo's? Well, I'll tell you why it's taking so long, because JoJo's is an insanely long show, and I really only have room for one insanely long show on my channel at a time, which I have like 3 long series on my channel at a time. So, my brother has read all the manga for JoJo's. My brother loves JoJo's. He has watched it till the end of time. And I told him one day I would watch it. But it's just until I get done with Natsume, I can't put JoJo's on a poll because that's too much of a commitment. So much. I feel like Fosbear's saying that the art style, I'm okay with art styles. If Ping Pong has taught me anything, you cannot judge a series by their art style. So after watching Ping Pong, I'm like, I don't care what the show looks like. As long as it's consistent, I can do it. One of the things that I got sad about with Dororo is some of the animation in that series, just to warn you, some of the animation is a little inconsistent at times, and that threw me out of the illusion. It threw me out of the fantasy of watching, because I was like, oh, why does that look weird? And so that's my only thing. If a series keeps a consistent anime style, I'm fine with it. It doesn't matter if it's like the most high production value series or if it's just like stick figures. As long as it stays consistent, I'm okay. It's just that when it starts out in a level and completely changes, I need a heads up on that. But no, I have not seen. Yeah, Monica solidified the rule of 3. What does it say here? Caitlin V says that JoJo is split into different parts, which I know that. You could separate them into different polls and watch them at separate times. That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea. Honestly, I may do that, Caitlin V. I may propose arcs at a time, like seasons. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Or I could watch a season or 2 of it and then see if people want me to keep going. That's not a bad idea. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good one. That's a good one. Slam Dunk was great. I do have manga reactions on Patreon for Slam Dunk because they got taken down off of YouTube, so I can't put them back up on YouTube, but they are there. So, a JoJo month. The author vibing. Okay, to answer your question, Fazbear, of what are on the polls, I'm going to tell you the poll for Tuesday has 10 shows on it on Patreon. So that one, if I'm going to pull it up here, let me get it ready here. The poll for that one that starts Tuesday, the 10 shows are, if I can hear, I'm not trying to be dramatic. It's just loading slow. The 10 shows that were left that Patreon recommended when I selected Gunbuster that are now going to be, Odd Taxi was one of them, but I'm watching Odd Taxi now on Fridays. So the ones that are left are After the Rain, Erased, Girls Last Tour, Lycoris Recoil, Orb on the Movements of the Earth, Oshinoko, Descending Stories or Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, Snow White and the Red Hair, Sunny Boy, and Windbreaker. Those are the 10 series. So, yes. And they have been, with the exception of Orb's a new one. With the exception of Orb, the others have been on the polls for a while. So, they're all insanely good options. So, I'm excited to see which one wins. There is one of those shows on the poll that I think is going to eventually be watched no matter what, but I'm not going to say what because I want to give the poll a fair shake. So, yeah. But yeah, I've had a lot of people really into these shows, so I'm excited. It's gonna be a hard poll. It's gonna be a close one, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see about JoJo's beating Kamui in the polls in the future. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen with that? But yeah, all three of these series had a lot of unexpected twists and turns, so I really, really appreciated about them. I had down here about ranking them, of which ones I like better of the three. Honestly, I would say that Dororo, I did like Dororo a lot, but it's definitely at the bottom of the three for me in terms of all three of them. And then I think the only Ping Pong's just perfect. Ping Pong, even though there's those two things I would change about it, Ping Pong is literally perfection. So Gunbuster, and Gunbuster's close, but Gunbuster's only 6 episodes. Ping Pong's 11. So I'm going to give Ping Pong the win because it's just so good. Kaylin, since you joined the chat late, starting on July 20th on Patreon, I'll be reacting to Summer Hikaru Died. And then the following Sunday, by the time the Rule of 3 is out for Summer Hikaru Died, the next Sunday it'll be on YouTube. You all have no idea how excited I am for the Summer Hikaru Died. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. But yes, I think we know what show will be watched eventually. You might, but I don't want to. I want to see how the poll goes so before I say it for sure. But yeah, there's also I want to do maybe a poll about illiterate names because there was a lot of shows that were recommended like Blood Bang Bravern and like Blood Blockade Blood. It was like all these B names. I was like, what is going on? And maybe one day Huckleberry and Ruby will choose for us again. Yeah, maybe over Christmas I'll have them like pick out toys again like they did for the one show, right? That would be fun. Bomation says, not Bromation, Bomation says, anyone hyped for Skip and Loafer season 2? Yes, I am very much as well. I'm so glad that series has a second season coming. That's going to be fantastic. So yeah, Blood Blockade Battlefront. What are these illiterate names? I'm here for it, but man, okay. So yeah, I just of the ones that were on here, I have seen Dororo. I did watch the 1960s anime for Dororo, and it was interesting. If you like but I like Unico. I like Tetsuka. I was honestly surprised that Tetsuka did Dororo at first because I feel like Osamu Tezuka has done everything. Astro Boy, Unico, Dororo. There's so many classics that are adapted from Tetsuka's work into Pluto and things like that. So I feel like once I knew Dororo was a Tetsuka work, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But the 60s anime it's different. I recommend looking it up on YouTube. It's a good time. But Gunbuster was an anime original, so it doesn't have a manga that it's based off of. And honestly, I think if I go back, I need to rewatch Ping Pong in the dub and I need to read the manga because after seeing this, I really kind of wanted to get into the manga for Ping Pong and check it out on my own time and just see it being there. But yes, oh my gosh, yeah. Brave Bang Bravern and Blood Blockade Battlefront in the chat. That's insane. Oh, the same. Wait, what? What did you just say? A board burrito. Did you just say that Blood Blockade Battlefront is from Naito? What? that changes everything. What did you just say? Huh? Okay. We're just gonna file that away for now. We're gonna file that away. Indeed. Okay. And then yes, lots of D names: Dororo, Dorara, Dandadan, all of these D names, all of the things. I'm like one track mind on Naito now that I'm getting Trigun Maximum finished. I'm like, I need more Naito. So that one might have to come down the pipeline at some point. But yes, the one interesting. Okay. So yeah, we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. This is wild. This is crazy. So my question to you all would be what questions about Ping Pong and Dororo? I want to open this up for like another 10, 15 minutes. What questions about Dororo, Ping Pong, and Gunbuster do you all have? Because I feel like they're all such different shows, but they're so good. And again, examples of great storytelling in a short amount of time. They had just a couple of episodes to do. They got it done. It was fantastic. It is a Naito joint. Oh, board burrito. You just made my day. That just made my night. That's getting that series on the polls. That is getting that series on the polls. Yep. No, that's certified fresh for me. You just sealed the deal. That's going on a poll this fall. It has to. It has to. Okay. All right. We'll see. I'm a fan of Dandadan because it's from Science Saru. Yes, I'm excited. Dandadan, the second season's on Patreon right now, and it's starting on Wednesday on YouTube. I'm excited to be back with Dandadan. That series is great. I love it. It's weird. I feel like Dandadan, if we're going to connect it to Gunbuster, and I want to connect it to Gunbuster, it toes the line. I talked about this in the latest episode of Dandadan that I reacted to. It's a series that is bonkers in all the right ways, very similar to Gunbuster, but it toes the line of being just it's like you want to slap it on the wrist and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do it, but you get really close to doing it, you know? So I feel like that's a good connection there. BBB indoctrination. Oh, I'm ready to drink the Kool-Aid right now. I'm like, please, sir. Please, sir, may I have some more? Like right there. What was something about Gunbusters that you can draw a line with towards later of Anno's works like Evangelion? Ooh, it's not afraid to be controversial without sounding like it's trying to be an asshole about it. Yes. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of connections between Gunbuster and Evangelion, but I feel like Gunbuster, because Anno took that series, he took that script. We were talking about it in the Discord where Anno, there's interviews that Lyndon shared in the Discord for that series. About Dandadan. Well, yes, I totally get where you're coming from about Dandadan because yeah, it's controversial, but not being edgy for no reason, like unironically. I honestly feel a deep dive comparing Noriko and Shinji. That would be fun, honestly. I feel like Noriko, she very much fits like the heroes model that you expect and that you want and you want to root for. And when we were talking in the Discord, Ano had said in an interview that he essentially was just given the script for Gunbuster and he's like, I want to do this because it sounds interesting and I think I can do something with it. And so it's kind of like Gunbuster is Ano taking the hero story and working with it in a way that is really successful. Whereas Evangelion is Ano saying, oh, here's the hero's journey. I'm going to walk over here and put it in a blender and then see what we get out of it. And it's just Ano being able to be a lot more unhinged than he is in Gunbuster. I feel like Gunbuster, you could see like the peek behind the unhinged curtain and you're like, oh, this is what he could do. And then in Neon Genesis, he ends up doing it. So, but yeah, Noriko and Shinji, they're so similar, but they're so different. But I like both their characters a lot. Wairu Senpai on Ping Pong, we have the guy who loses to smile and goes on a self-search journey only to realize that he loves ping pong. Yes, which is voiced by Suda. who can do no wrong in voice acting. Suda can do no wrong as a voice actor. There's some voice actors like Miyano Mamoru, like Suda, they can do no wrong to me. I'm like, nope, they are amazing. And I loved the guy who loses to smile. He's just this side character that you follow the rest of the series, but he loses and thinks, oh, well, I'm done. I'm never going to touch ping pong again. I'm going to go somewhere else to greener pastures. And it's very much a grass is always greener on the other side moment. And then he makes his journey and he comes back full circle and then realizes while he was gone, oh, actually, I do love this game, even though I lost at it. And it was such a cool lesson to people that just because you lose at something or you're not great at it, if you love it, you love it. So if you're not great at it and you think I'm going to walk away, if you truly enjoy it, you're going to come back to it. And I feel like I've had hobbies in my life that I am not great at, and I'd walk away and then I'd come back and be like, no, I really like that. And it would kind of draw me back to it, So that's a really good point. What else do we have on here? How do you feel about the Christmas episode of Ping Pong? It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I love that episode so much. That montage of them singing and the thing with Yuri and Kazuma and all of that. And then that was the moment of Sonata that blew my mind. I was like, oh, and blew his mind too, inadvertently. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I think that episode of Ping Pong is what made me go, oh, this is going to be a 10 out of 10. Unless they just drop the ball completely, this is going to be a 10 out of 10. And like, yes. Yes. Oh, you should definitely watch Chiaya Furu, Fosbear. It's a worthy successor to Ping Pong. It's just long. Whereas Ping Pong's really short, right? Nicholas says, I mentioned this with Sunspot, but Noriko and Shinji remind me so much of each other, but their dads are so different. That is so true. Yes. I feel like Noriko, also, if you want to talk about just paternal influence and how your parents affect your upbringing, I think that comparing Neon Genesis to Gunbuster is very appropriate because you have Noriko who comes from a pretty adjusted family and it ends up affecting kind of her overall morale. And then you have Shinji who comes from a very estranged and not great upbringing. And we see what happens with his esteem and his view of self-worth. So that's a really good point to bring up. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's awesome. Maxim says, I love the space battles of Gunbuster the most, to be honest. Total space battle nerd. I definitely gained a better appreciation for that in Gunbuster because I'm inherently not that way. I like battle scenes. Usually I'm here for the character development and like a battle, I can like watch through a battle and be like, oh, that was great. But I will say Gunbuster it forces you to sit down and appreciate every little element. And I like how realistic it is and that we're going to show you the process and every little detail, kind of like Neon Genesis. And I appreciated that a lot about it because I could tell watching, I'm like, oh, there is somebody watching this that is losing their mind at how good this is. And I could appreciate it and respect it for that. Even if I wasn't living my life, I was like, somebody's watching this and they are just absolutely loving every second of it. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Bomation says, I still can't believe Science Saru, Dan to Dan Studio, which is by Ping Pong's director, is making a Ghost in the Shell anime for 2026. Ooh, that's another one I have not seen. I'm going to hide under this desk out of embarrassment. I've failed my otaku card. I have not seen Ghost in the Shell, and I feel like I should. I know of it. I know it through the zeitgeist, but I've not watched it. So add that to the list. H Banana 7 says, how about Dororo and what makes a human a human? Johan from Monster, who is human physically, but his humanity is debatable. Yes, that was honestly I think the most intriguing part about Dororo was Hyakumaru's journey to finding out if they're going to be a human. Like there's this concept in Dororo where you have a character that starts out with less humanity and throughout the series they're gaining physically what it means to be a human, but mentally and spiritually they're becoming more of a demon. And so what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to gain back that humanity? Can you appear human while not being human? And I think it does connect to Monster really well. It does. Hyakumaru and Johan have surprisingly more in common than you would think. and especially their upbringing and everything. It's good. So I think that's a really good concept to bring up. Da Possessed, hot take. I don't glorify voice actors, but I treat them respectfully as the parents of the characters that I liked. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I feel I've met some voice actors in real life because I want to share my respect for them. But I do kind of like at the end of the day, they're just people and they're just doing a job and they voice characters that I really like. So I kind of like that idea that they're kind of just parents, or I always think of them kind of as like guardians of those characters, because you have like Miyano Mamoru, for example, has done voices of specific characters. So it's kind of like he's guarding that character. He's like potentially like responsible for that character's voice. And that's kind of cool. But some people just have voices that I'm like, that's where I gravitate towards. A good voice, I'm just like here for it. A board burrito says, I'm hopeful that more Yuasa shows might appear on the channel someday. He's an amazing and distinct director. So Ping Pong, Uno, Tatami Galaxy, Kaiba. Yes, Tatami Galaxy has been recommended a lot, so I'd really like to get to it someday. I would love to. Like, I loved Inuo. When I tell you Inuo and Tekkon Concrete are some of my favorite movies that I've seen this year, and they're done by the same guy as Ping Pong, so it all makes sense. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Maxim says, I still simp for the 70s and 2010s versions of Space Battleship Yamato. Ano credits the 70s versions as a thing that inspired him to work in animation, and hence the posters fit in for Gunbuster. I do love that Ano gives credit where credit's due and will reference people and things like he does. I like that. I like that a lot. The Facebook fan group, Spomation, you just unlocked some memories. Oh, there's a Facebook fan group for you also? That's interesting. Okay, cool. Have I read 21st Century Boys, Hood Magic? I have not. I know it's by the same person that's done Monster. I know it's a manga, and I know it's really long. I would eventually like to do a manga poll, but now's not the time. But that one will probably end up on it because I've had a lot of people recommend it. Let me see. Have you seen much of Mamoru Oshii, Ghost in the Shell, Paddleboard, The Sky Crawlers? I have not. No. Interesting. Interesting. No, I know of Ghost in the Shell, but I've not seen any of those works. So that's really interesting. We shall see. Anybody else have any other questions about Ping Pong? I've got about 10 minutes left to wrap up this. I'm still not awake. Oh man, let me tell you. If I don't have my coffee in the morning, H Banana 7, I'm right there with you. I feel really fortunate that I got to watch Gunbusters and Ping Pong and Dororo when I did, because they all came out after really good series that I'd watched on the channel, and I was really worried that because when you finish, like I'd finished Berserk, which was a huge undertaking, and then I'd finished March Comes in Like a Lion, which was a huge undertaking, and then the series that Gunbuster came after was literally Delicious in Dungeon. So there were 3 series that had been long-running series that I had really gotten into and I really love. And there's always this fear that when you end one show, the next show is not going to like carry the energy as a reactor. And I got really lucky that these 3 shows all were like, they just kept the hype going. They were so unique, so different, and I absolutely loved them. So they were great. Pat Labor is something you should definitely look into. Peak classic mega show. Honestly, Gunbuster makes me want to watch more mecha. And my brother was like, really? Because my brother's a huge Gundam fan. My younger brother has watched like all the Gundams. He makes Gundam models. He's really into it. The convention we went to, he was like all into the Gundam like setup that they had. He loves Gundam. And we watched Metabots when I was a kid. So he got me into Metabots, which was fun. That was a throwback. But I was talking about Gunbuster, and he's like, well, you'd probably really like more mech anime. And I'm like, I kind of think I would. I've had Gurren Lagann recommended a lot. And so Gurren Lagann would be one that I'd probably want to include in a poll later on, because that series is like classic, I feel. So I like that too. What were your thoughts on Ping Pong's visuals before and after you watched the show? They are a very divisive part of the show. Yes, I talked about that at the beginning of this live stream, but those of you watching this video, I was advocating for Ping Pong while it was running so hard. I will tell you this, the first episode, I got done watching it before, because I record my reaction. I turn off my reaction, my camera and everything, and I get everything set up for the discussion, usually like within 5 minutes of the reaction ending. And when I stopped the reaction for Ping Pong, I was like, is this animation style going to work for me? And I legit asked myself that. And then, but I'm like, I'm going to give it till episode 2 and we'll see. And then I described at the beginning of the live stream, it's like jumping into a pool. The water's going to be cold at first, but then you immediately get comfortable. And that's how I got. So by the end of the series, you can't have ping pong without that animation style. It's part of it. It's like its skin. It's you have the skeleton of the series, and that animation is its flesh. You cannot have it without that animation style, and it wouldn't be the same show. So I would definitely recommend to people, if you are thinking about watching ping pong and you're not sure and you're like, I don't know about the animation style, I'm like, watch an episode, get to episode 2, and by episode 3 you're going to be hooked. I think so anyway. I loved it. Fazbear said there's a very interesting analysis video for a Toilet Bound Hanako-kun released not that long ago, but don't watch it unless you're caught up with the manga. Yes, I have. You all can't see it, but I have down here, I have a list of my extras that I've got to get through. And on here, I have Hanako-kun volumes 22 and 23 and the after school special. I was going to wait till closer to Halloween to get more into the Hanako-kun manga, but I was, because it's spooky. So I was going to wait till it be more thematic. But yeah, that is awesome though. I'm glad people are talking about Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. That was one of the first shows I watched on my channel, and it's so good. People keep asking if I'm going to watch season 2, and I'm like, but I've read the manga, so I don't know. But Blackwind says Gundam has tons of great BL ships. Oh, you're selling it hard. My brother is not a shipper, so he probably would never say that there were ships in Gundam because he's not a shipper at all. He's like not interested in romance whatsoever, but that's hilarious. Can I ask what was the exact moment you realized that Pico, we're getting into some spoiler territory, was the hero of the story? It was a shock to me when Sakuma called him that in the Christmas episode. So good. Honestly, I didn't realize it during the Christmas episode. It took me a little while. There had been a comment in the comments that kind of hinted at it, and I was like, I don't know. But the episode right after the Christmas one is when things start to turn around for his character, and I was like, oh, we're doing this. I didn't expect this, and I loved that. It was great. Hood Magic, why YouTube barely recommends your videos and I don't like it. I honestly think that I lost you at one point. It was hard to find you. Oh, thank you for joining on Patreon. I appreciate that. Thank you. Honestly, I think that one, I'm not paid for by YouTube. I'm not a YouTube like person that gets paid on there because it's something I don't want to deal with it. And there's other reasons too. But I think that's one of the reasons why, if you're not a YouTube partner, they probably shove you aside. And my videos, I think that the ratings fluctuate so wildly between shows that I think that throws off the algorithm as well. And I don't know, it's weird because I've seen other big YouTubers like ProZD talk about his stuff getting lost too. I think it's just YouTube, and I think their algorithm is kind of busted, which kind of sucks for creators, because even big creators, I think their stuff gets lost in the shuffle. There's people I even subscribe to that I'm like, I don't see their video, and then I'm like, should they have a new video out? And then they do, and I'm like, YouTube, why didn't you show that? So I can only ask that if people like my videos, that they do subscribe and they check the subscriptions and see new videos when they come out. That's the only thing I can recommend. And then if you can support on Patreon, that's amazing and you're awesome. But if you can't, I just ask that, if you want to keep up with the videos and the shows that I'm watching and the posts, then just subscribe and check back. And that's all you can do really to beat the algorithm. So I don't know what else to do with that. Bomation says, I read Ping Pong after, and I'm surprised how much the anime adds. Ooh, really interesting. There's some stuff they say in the chat. I'm like, oh, well, I definitely want to read the manga at my own time. So I'm very, very curious about that additional and other things. Interesting. There is BL everywhere, Hope Worldly, and you were absolutely correct. Nicholas says, I love that Gunbuster made you want to dive more into the genre. Yes, absolutely. I've had some recommended before, and this definitely made me want to get into more mech stuff, because I'm very curious to see what they do with in space and how they deal with that. Interesting. I'm seeing if there's anything else in the chat. Gundam Wing especially is more popular with the Fujos than anyone else. Oh, you're selling it hard. I think season 2 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun is pretty good even for manga readers. Yeah. And then Demon Slayer, I want to get back into it as well. Y'all are absolutely right. I'm excited for the shows that I'm watching on the channel right now. there's rarely a show that I honestly can tell you all, there's been only a handful of shows that I was like, but like 2. And that's it. Everything else y'all have recommended me and you have me watching, I am 1,000 times here for. And I'm so excited for this month, what's on the channel. And it's going to be a fun July. And if August is as I think it's going to go, August is going to be a fun month too. So we shall see. But yeah, we're about rounding out to where I'm going to end the live stream. So there's not enough time. Fosbear, you are absolutely right. Time is a thief and there's not enough of him, but I'm going to try to make the most with the time that I've got. So we'll see. Anything else, y'all? I got like a minute left. I really appreciate you all joining this live stream. Gundam Witch from Mercury. That's the one that keeps getting recommended, Wairu Senpai. Oh, it reminds me of Ping Pong, eh? Now y'all are recommending things and I'm like, oh, you're speaking my language. Yes, please. Yes, please. That one, I don't know. That one, an old blood blockade. You know, what can we do? So thank you, H Banana. I really appreciate those kind words. So next Sunday, I'm going to be doing another live stream. It's going to be at 1:00 Central Standard Time in the afternoon. I know not everybody can make that one, but they will be recorded. They will be put up on Patreon. They will be put up on YouTube as well. I'm going to be talking about, speaking of BL, speaking of Donmai, speaking of shipping, I'm going to be talking about Scum Villain Self-Saving System and probably the summer Hikaru died. We're probably going to talk about that one in the live stream too, although I don't want to get too crazy into it because there's spoilers. So I'm probably just going to talk about BL, Scum Villain, a video essay that I'm working on. We're going to talk about that. We need to talk about Scum Villain though. It's been a long time since I finished that series. We need to talk about it though, because I didn't get to talk about it enough. And I've had some time to let it marinate since I finished it. And now I want to talk about it again. So next Sunday at 1 p.m., we're going to talk about Scum Villain and spend our afternoon sipping tea and spilling tea about these Donmai boys. And I hope that I see you all there soon. So thank you guys so much for joining. All of my love. I really appreciate it. I hope you all, it's Sunday night. It's Monday morning for some of you. I hope you have an amazing week. I cannot wait for this week. And yeah, the polls are going to be fun. So Donmai delicious food. Thank you all for the stream as well. Have a great night. Have a great week. And I'll be back here real soon, y'all. And we will be looking at some more reactions. So I'll see you all there. All right. Bye. Thanks.